Hello, all my babies out there in the world. And this is a special hello to Jacob Pooh and Lucky Lou, my sweet youngest grandbabies. And hello to all you other people out there in the whole world. It's Grandma Buttercup, and we're going to read another story today. Today, the story is, let's see if you can see that, Aesop's Fables, The Ant and the Grasshopper. And this is adapted by Randall, and it has really pretty pictures by Louise, Gardner. Let's get started. Grasshopper was a lively, happy insect who didn't have a care in the world. He spent long summer days relaxing in the sunshine or bouncing and dancing through the grass. "Come and play," he said to Bee one day. "Bzzz, I'd love to," said Bee. "Bzzz, but I'm much too busy. If I don't gather this pollen, we bees won't be able to make honey. And then when winter comes, we won't have anything to eat." "Well, work if you want to," said Grasshopper, "but I'd rather play." And off he hopped. So there's Grasshopper and there's Busy Bee, and he's saying, "Come and play with me." And Bee says, "Oh no, I've got lots of work to do." Aren't those pretty pictures of flowers? Then Grasshopper saw Ladybug crawling along a leaf. "Come and play," he called. "Sorry, Grasshopper, not today," replied Ladybug. "I'm looking after the roses, and they depend on us to guard them from greenfly." "Well, I think you're silly to spend this beautiful day working," said Grasshopper, hopping away. There's Ladybug, and she says, "Oh no, I've got work to do." Grasshopper went happily on his way until he saw Ant, who was struggling to carry some grain on her back. "Why are you working so hard?" asked Grasshopper. "It's such a sunny day. Come and play." "I have no time, Grasshopper," said Ant. "I have to take this grain back to my nest so that my family and I have enough food when winter comes. Have you built your nest yet?" "Nest?" laughed Grasshopper. "Who needs a nest when life in the great outdoors is so wonderful? And there's plenty of food, so why should I worry?" And off he hopped. All right, there's Ant with all the food she's carrying on her back. And there's Grasshopper. And there goes Ant off to store her food for her family. At night, while the other insects slept, Grasshopper sang and danced under the moonlight. "Come and play," he called to the spider, who was the only one awake. "Sorry, Grasshopper," said the spider. "I have a web to spin. Can't stop now." "Suit yourself," said Grasshopper, and he danced away. There's the spider, and she's spinning her web. And there's the Grasshopper singing and dancing. Day after day, Grasshopper played while the other insects worked. And night after night, he danced and he sang while the others tried to sleep. And the other insects were fed up. "Stop that noise," shouted Bee one night. "Bzzz, you're keeping the whole hive awake." "Yes, be quiet," said Ladybug. "And I'm trying to get my babies to sleep," cried Ant. See, he's making all this noise, and here they said, "Be quiet." As the summer went on, the long summer sunny days began to get shorter and cooler. But lazy Grasshopper hardly noticed. He was still too busy enjoying himself. Here he is, enjoying himself. Just laying around, being lazy. One day, Grasshopper saw Ant with her 4 little children, and they were all carrying food back to their nest. "My, look at all your helpers," said Grasshopper. "Well, we're running out of time," puffed Ant. "What are you doing about building a nest and storing food for the winter?" "Oh, I can't be bothered," said Grasshopper. "Well, there's lots of food around now, so why worry?" And there's the ant and her 4 children, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all carrying some food on their backs to take back to the nest. The days passed quickly, and it wasn't long before Grasshopper saw Bee again, buzzing busily around the flowers. Her legs were covered in yellow pollen. "Well, you're in a hurry," said Grasshopper. "Bzzz, I certainly am," buzzed Bee. "I have to bring more pollen back to the hive while I can still get it. Summer won't last forever, you know." "I don't know what everyone's so worried about," said Grasshopper, and off he went, leaving Bee to buzz back to her hive. That night, there was a chill in the air, and Grasshopper didn't feel like dancing. "Maybe you'd better start getting ready for winter," warned Spider. It was getting colder, but Grasshopper didn't want to think about that right now. "Well, there's still loads of time for that," said Grasshopper, and he began to sing. Soon the trees began to lose their leaves, and Grasshopper was spending more time looking for food and less time having fun. But now there wasn't much food to be found. One afternoon, Ant and her children scurried across the path, each carrying a fat, ripe seed. "Where did you find those?" asked Grasshopper eagerly. "Are there any more?" "There are plenty over there," said Ant, pointing. "And when are you going to make a nest? Winter will be here soon." "I'm too hungry to think about that right now," said Grasshopper, rushing towards the seeds and gobbling down as many as he could. So here he is asking the ant, "Where did you get all those seeds?" And then she told him where, and he gobbled up a whole bunch. See him gobbling him up? And now he's just laying down again. He sure is being lazy. Uh-oh. A few days later, it began to snow. Ladybug was in her nest, fast asleep. Bee bzz, 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 was in her hive, sipping sweet honey with her friends and relations. Grasshopper was cold and all alone. He was hungry, and there wasn't a crumb of food to be found anywhere. Spider looked down from his web. "What are you going to do now?" he asked. See, here's everybody in their house, in their home, all warm and cozy. But here's Grasshopper. He didn't save any food, did he? And he's cold and all alone. Oh. Uh-oh, it began to snow harder. I know, said Grasshopper. Ant will help me. She has plenty of food. So he set out to look for Ant's nest. And there he goes. He's going to go looking for Ant's nest. He sure does look cold. Once, while he was looking for Ant's nest, a blackbird swooped down and almost caught him. But Grasshopper just managed to duck out of the way. Now he was cold and hungry and frightened too. Woo, almost got him. That bird would have eaten him up. At last, Grasshopper found Ant's cozy nest, safe and warm below the ground. Ant came out to see him. What do you want? She asked. Please, Ant, said Grasshopper, have you any food to spare? Ant looked at him. All summer long, while my family and I worked hard to gather food and prepare our nest, what did you do? I played and had fun, of course, said Grasshopper. That's what summer that's what summer is for. There's Ant's nice warm home with all her food, and here she came out to talk to Grasshopper. Well, you were wrong, weren't you? Said Ant. If you play all summer, then you go hungry all winter. Yes, said Grasshopper sadly, as a tiny tear fell from the corner of his eye. I have learned my lesson now. I just hope it isn't too late. Ant's heart softened. Okay, this time. Come on in, she said, and I'll find some food for you. Grasshopper gratefully crawled into Ant's warm nest where Ant and her family shared their food with him. And by the time spring came around, Grasshopper was fat and fit and ready to start building a nest of his own. The end. So what did we learn? You can play during the summer, but sometimes you need to do work too. You can do part play and part work and get everything ready. Don't be lazy. I hope you enjoyed reading The Ant and the Grasshopper. And Buttercup will see you next time. Mwah.